Joining us this morning to discuss the 2026 budget is Dr. Froilan Calilong, a professor at the University of Santo Tomas. Good morning. Prof, thanks for joining us again.
Yes, good morning, and good morning also to our televiewers. Happy New Year. Thank you for having me again.
Of course, we have a lot to unpack regarding this issue sa budget. Unahin na po natin your reaction to Senator Imy's claim that the 2026 budget could be used for political gain, most specifically doon sa pag-file ng impeachment complaint against VP Sara.
Well, I think these allegations are not at all baseless, primarily because we actually have seen this in the previous year when they actually used the 2025 GAA to actually, as being alleged, to actually give to several congressmen in order for them to be able to sign the impeachment complaint. No? And I think this is nothing new, basically. But what I believe is important here is for the senator to actually come up with, evidences that will actually justify and solidify her claim regarding this, because these are actually very strong allegations to begin with. But I believe that the good senator will have to come up with evidences to actually justify this claim, and at the same time, maybe tell us her sources as well of this news. Otherwise, this may actually be dispelled as just mere rumors or maybe an opinion on her side.
Ano yung effect nito, Prof, with all these allegations at the start of the year on the two institutions that have seen previously dati, Senado ang mataas, tas Congress ang bumababa, but now parang baliktad ngayon. How does this affect the image? And of course, looking at the reaction of the people who are, there's already an amount of distrust towards these institutions.
Well, because when we try to look at the dismal performance in terms of the trust and confidence of the public, I think we're looking at it not only from one particular department. I think the distrust that the public is feeling right now actually amounts to a greater magnitude that covers all the different instrumentalities and all the different institutions of the government. Primarily because when we talk about corruption, mainly, this is not just simply a doing of one particular branch alone. This is a whole of a government approach thing. So it's very orchestrated, systematic, and synchronized. So yun yung perception kasi na naiisip ng taong bayan ngayon. Kaya kung makikita natin, in the past surveys, hindi lamang yung presidente ang nagiging apektado rito, kundi yung buong gobyerno primarily.
Yes,
and I think what the government needs to do here, what the president needs to do to turn things around, is to really be more steadfast and be more concrete with his measures regarding the flood control scandal.
Hindi ba kailangan, Prof, do you think na parang madami nagsasabi, a lot of people are looking at it the wrong way, no? Corruption, well, it begins, of course, sa budgeting, but of course, hindi po makokorrupt yung pera kung hindi sa implementation part, no? Baka nakakalimutan natin, we're so focused on the budgeting, we're losing sight of the fact na on the ground level, that's where it really starts. So, do you think that oversight, kailangan tignan din itong administrasyon? Baka may problema tayo sa mechanisms.
Yes, I totally agree with that, Jago. And I think what is important here, like I said, yung whole of government approach dapat, and the president should really be on top of this kasi ang implementation side naman talaga, nasa executive yan, nasa executive siya. But then again, I think what is important here, what is imperative, is for the different agencies and for the different institutions of the government to really come up with a confidence building measures that will somehow assure the public na talagang nagagamit itong pondo ng maayos. And I think what is important here also is yung accountability and at the same time yung transparency. Kung magkakaroon tayo ng mga mechanisms by which we know how every peso of the government is being spent, I think mas magiging maganda yun. That's why I'm very much in favor of the Cadena Law, wherein we're going to be able to make use of itong blockchain technology, para masiguro natin na lahat ng pondo nagagamit talaga ng tama in real time. And I think this will somehow bring back the trust and confidence of the public into how every taxpayer's money is being spent.
Well, Prof, I also want to ask you about the rumor na cabinet revamp of this administration. Okay, ilang araw na yan pinag-uusapan, and of course, ang Malacanang through their spokesperson Yuse Claire Castro has already denied this. Pero yun nga, is this also para nakikita natin because of the trust rating ng Pangulo na bumababa, kaya may mga ganitong baka sakali magkaroon ng revamp sa kanyang cabinet members?
Well, this could be a good measure on the part of the president, pero I would say this is just a piecemeal initiative on his part. No, what I mean is that in order for him to really regain the public trust, I think it really needs to start with himself. No, yes, I think makakatulong ito, especially if the people that he will be putting in these positions will be able to perform better compared to those that are currently in power. I mean, currently handling this position. Because let's face it, may mga cabinet secretaries talaga tayo that I think are not performing at par with what is expected of them. For example, sa tourism industry natin, we lag behind almost all of our ASEAN counterparts sa baba ng ating tourism revenues that is being generated for the past year. So I think kailangan talaga natin ng pagbabago dito, no? But more than that, I think it's the president's call at this point in time, and the reason why patuloy yung pagbaba ng kanyang survey rankings, tutumbukin ko na, no, is primarily because the public is not satisfied at all with how the flood control scandal, the investigations is being run. No? Talagang yun yung dulo naman ito, no? Kung gusto ng Pangulo na iangat yung kanyang survey rankings at ibaguhin ang kanyang mga numero, kinakailangan mas decisive ang approach niya, kinakailangan mas solid at comprehensive yung kinakailangan na gawing mga kaparaanan para talaga mapanagot natin yung malalaking isda dito sa iskandalo na to. But that is also very problematic on the part of the President, especially kung meron siyang pinagtatakpan at meron talaga siyang pinoprotektahan dito sa issue na to.
Diretsuhin ko na, Prof. Is the ICII a failed project and was it just created to tame down political noise? Kasi mukhang wala nang bite, walang kagat ang ICI ngayon eh.
Exactly. I actually felt the same thing, no, from the time that it was created. And nung umalis dito si Mayor Benji Magalong, nawala na ako ng kumpiyansa dito sa ICI. For one, wala talaga siyang ngipin, ano? Wala naman talaga siyang sapat na kakayahan, no, to actually enforce its mandate. At the same time, yung structure niya problematic din, ano? So I think it's really more of an appeasement thing, no? Appeasement para kahit paano pakalmahin yung ng taong bayan during that time. Remember that when the ICI was created, this was actually in the heels of several protest rallies that we staged last year. No, so again, this was created to primarily subdue the emotions of the people. Pero nakita naman natin, no, kung talagang may kakayahan itong ICI, dapat may nangyari na sa investigation na to ngayon. Pero as we see it, it's really very sluggish. It's not moving anything forward. Wala talaga nangyayari. So, I think it's best na talagang mas maganda na mabuwag na lang yung ICI basically.
Well, have you seen the budget, Prof? Because I want to ask your opinion on the, of course, the issue on soft pork, yung mga giniling, and of course the unprogrammed funds na is being challenged ngayon before the Supreme Court by Congressman Laila De Lima and Erice.
Well, I do agree with that. For as long as there are unprogrammed appropriations, we can never come up or we can never say that we have a budget that is totally clean. No? Because unprogrammed appropriations, basically, yun nga, hindi natin alam kung kailan sila pupondohan, hindi rin natin alam kung ano yung mekanismo kung paano sila mailalatag sa atin, sa publiko. No? Because definitely this goes several months or several time after the budget has already been approved. Now, so for as long as nandyan yung mga unprogrammed appropriations, nandyan itong mga discretionary fundings, no, mananatiling questionable itong ating budget. And definitely, what we're seeing right now is a budget that is technically the biggest in the history of the country. But you need to understand that we are also suffering from a very large budget deficit at this point in time. So, saan na naman natin kukuha totohanin to, no? Syempre, dagdag na naman to sa ating foreign debt borrowing at dadagdag na naman to sa ating foreign debt servicing. So this is really quite problematic for us, not to mention that the economic imperatives of the country is really not in a very good shape at this point in time. We have a very high, the GDP target was not met, definitely. Mataas ang ating inflation, mataas ang ating unemployment, mataas ang peso-dollar exchange rate. There is capital flight and investor confidence is very, very much affected by the corruption scandal. So I think, all these things does not really paint a very good future for us. And if the president, like I said, really want to turn things around, it will have to be done the soonest possible time because he is already, if I'm not mistaken, entering, or if not, he is already in the lame duck phase of his presidency.
2 years na lang.
Oo.
And plus, not to mention yung yung revenue natin through BIR collection is also problematic at this point. Okay, Jago.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you for your time and insights, Dr. Froilan Calilong, and for joining us this morning.
Anytime. God bless and Happy New Year.